Where the bloody hell is it? This is one of the enduring mysteries of Australian politics. The famous or infamous KPMG audit report for Tourism Australia in 2005 when Scott Morrison was the managing director. Scott has always used the cover of this famous KPMG report, this probity report, to justify his position there. Because remember, he left with 1 year left on his contract. He was fired. Why was he fired? 17 years later, the mystery is coming to light. What was this mysterious report about? The KPMG probity report. It was about the probity or the honesty of the tender process for this $180 million ad campaign contract, which went to Saatchi. Was it kosher? Did they have a proper tender process? Well, ScoMo used the pretext, the cover of this report to say, yes, there was a report. And yes, the report found that the process was proper. Now, we've been looking for this mysterious report for 3 or 4 years ourselves. Jommy Tee, the Twitter identity who does some investigative work, found in 2020, Tourism Australia could not find it. They did not know about its whereabouts. There was no record in their email and databases of this mysterious KPMG report. The KPMG's part, when questioned, they could not confirm the existence of the report either. Still, that didn't mean there was no report. Then, last week, we had a breakthrough. Jommy got back some FOIs, which showed an external review of the stage 2 of the tender process was not necessary. Stage 2 is a stage where there's an evaluation and assessment of shortlisted tenderers and, overseas in-market reviews and assessment of the financial submissions, the final presentations and a final recommendation. Well, there was none of that because it only got to stage 1. 2 months after the Minister had approved the outcome, KPMG's written review into stage 1 had not been finalised. It was a verbal report. So what about these usual provisions for making requests that ScoMo was referring to? 1, questions on notice.
Well, it's an internal document that's been provided to our board. I'm sure that there are usual provisions for making requests for those types of documents.
Well, I'll start by making one now.
Take it on notice. Thanks.
They never produced this mysterious report, probably because it didn't exist. And the other thing is FOI. The system is completely broken. Only this week, a court has found that a company part owned by Angus Taylor called Jamland was illegally clearing grasslands, breaking the law. Now, other news organisations have been chasing this with FOIs and so on for quite some time, but the problem is it's taking a 2-year turnaround to get these things back, as was evinced by Rex Patrick's story the other day. In a column for us, Rex wrote regarding George Christensen that the FOI finally came through after he'd left Parliament when he was a private citizen, completely useless. It's taking 2 or 3 years for these things to come back, and often, The Guardian had one the other day, completely redacted, page after page of black on black on black. That's the kind of secrecy which has been fostered over the past decade in government. Information about car park rorts, the Paladin affair, the Cayman Island water fiasco with Angus Taylor, the Leppington Triangle affair over the $30 million paid for $3 million worth of land near the airport. All this stuff, buried, inaccessible. You can't get it because the FOI system, which started with good intentions in 1982, is bust. It's gone. They even set up a thing called the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner, the OAIC, in 2010 to rehabilitate the broken FOI system. They've completely messed it up themselves. They've got powers, but they haven't used them. As Rex Patrick wrote the other day for us, another concern in all of this is the 3 years it took the Information Commissioner to conduct her review. What a disgrace. The FOI Act is intended to facilitate timely access to information. Delay is the enemy of FOI. Secrecy in government, transparency and disclosure, huge issues, because in a democracy, we can only vote with the information which is at hand. Would we have voted for ScoMo had we have known that there was no KPMG report, that it was a ScoMo concoction? Let's call it what it is. Freedom from information, not freedom of information. Hopefully, the Albo government will see to it and fix this up.